started, we are going to create a slip knot. So we're going to take the working yarn and we're just going to kind of let it dangle, and we're going to wrap the yarn around our finger like this. And then we're going to wrap it a second time behind that first strand, just like this. Then we're going to take this first strand ever so gently and just loosen it a little bit. Slide our hook right up underneath that first strand, grab the second strand, pull it through, and there is your slip knot. We're going to tighten it down on the hook, but you don't want to tighten it so much that your hook cannot slide through the loop. And then we are going to create a foundation chain of 27. And when we have a foundation chain of 27, we're going to begin our work. So let's turn, and let me get some yarn out of the skein a little bit here. Now remember, the loop on the hook does not count as part of your foundation chain. So we're going to begin our work working in the third chain from the hook. So here is the first one, the second one, and the third one. So we're going to work into this third chain from the hook. So we're going to insert our hook, yarn over, and draw up a loop. That gives us 2 loops on the hook. We're going to yarn over and pull through both loops. That is a single crochet. Right in that same stitch, we're going to chain 2, 1 and 2, and we're going to go right back into that same stitch, and we're going to create another single crochet. Well, my yarn does not want to yarn over, and there we go. That single crochet, chain 2, single crochet is called a single crochet V-stitch. And we're going to do another one. We're going to skip 2 chains, so 1, 2, and right here in this third one, we're going to create another single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, and again that's known as a single crochet V-stitch. And then chain 2, 1 and 2, and we're going to go right back into that stitch and do a single crochet. All right, and let's do that again. We're going to skip 2 chains, 1, 2, go right into the third one and work a single crochet, and chain 2, 1 and 2, and go right back into that stitch and work a single crochet. So you're going to keep repeating that pattern down the rest of the row by skipping 2 chains, working a single crochet, chain 2, single crochet into the third stitch. You want to make sure as you're working that you keep your foundation chain your foundation chain straight so that it doesn't kind of turn on you, get kind of corkscrewy, crooked, wonky. You want to make sure that you're creating that nice straight foundation row. So go ahead and continue that pattern until you get to the end here where you have 3 chains left. When you have 3 chains left, I will meet back up with you and we'll finish this foundation row together. When you get down to the end of the row and you have your 3 stitches remaining, 1, 2, 3, we are going to do just like we have been, and we're going to skip the next 2, but in this very last chain, instead of working a single crochet V-stitch, we're actually going to work a half double crochet into that stitch. In order to do that, we yarn over. That gives us 2 loops on the hook now. We're going to insert our hook into that stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop, and we now have 3 loops on the hook. We have our beginning loop, our yarn over loop, and the loop we just pulled up. To complete the half double crochet, we're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on the hook. And that ends our established foundation row. We're now going to chain 3, so 1, 2, and 3. We're going to turn our work. That chain 3 is going to count as the first stitch in the beginning of this row, and it's going to be a double crochet. This row that we're going to work now will be the first row of a 2-row repeating pattern to work the primrose stitch. All right, so we're going to skip over to this chain 2 space from the previous row, and we're going to work 3 double crochets right into that chain 2 space. To work a double crochet, you yarn over, insert your hook into the space, yarn over and pull up a loop, and you have 3 loops on the hook. You're going to yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops, leaving 2 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through the last 2 loops, and that is a double crochet. We're going to work 2 more of those in that same chain 2 space. So yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over and pull through the last 2 loops. And let's do that one more time. Yarn over, insert your hook into the chain 2 space, yarn over and pull up a loop, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops remaining, yarn over and pull through the last 2. And you have worked 3 double crochets right into that same chain 2 space. So you have kind of like a little mini shell going on. We're going to skip over to the next chain 2 space, and we're going to work 3 double crochets right into that same chain 2 space. So that's 1, and 2, and 3. And there again, you have another little mini shell. All right, let's do that one more time together. We're going to work 3 double crochets into the next chain 2 space. And that's 1, 2, and 3. And this is what it's looking like. So go ahead and continue going across the row, working 3 double crochets into each chain 2 space. And when you get down to the very last chain 2 space, go ahead and work 3 double crochets, and then I'll come back and meet up with you at the end of the row, and we'll work our last stitch together in this very last stitch to finish off the row. When you've worked the last chain 2 space by putting 3 double crochets in there, we are going to skip over to this very last stitch, and we're going to work a single double crochet in the very top of that turning chain. And I'm trying to get into just those top 2 stitches. You might have to just kind of work and wiggle your hook in there. There we go. And you'll know you have it when you have that little V shape there. All right. And just pull that through and yarn over, pull through the first 2 and yarn over and pull through the last 2. And that completes the first row of your repeating pattern. We're now going to chain 2, 1, 2, and we're going to turn our work. And you can count if you want. You can skip 2 and then work your stitch, or if you look across the row here, you can easily see your 3 double crochets in each stitch. We're going to be working in that center double crochet. So you can again either go 1, 2, skip, and then work in the stitch, 1, 2, skip, and work in the stitch, or you can just easily locate that center double crochet in each of those little clusters. We're going to work that single crochet, chain 2, single crochet pattern, which is the single crochet V-stitch in the center double crochet. So we're skipping over to that and we're working a single crochet, chain 2, 1, 2, and go right back into that stitch and work a single crochet. Skipping over to that next center double crochet, we're going to do a single crochet, chain 2, 1, 2, and we're going to go right back into that stitch and work another single crochet. Skipping over to the next center double crochet, we're going to work a single crochet, chain 2, 1, 2, and go right back into the stitch and work a single crochet. And we're going to repeat that all the way across. When you work your last single crochet V-stitch in the center double crochet, I will meet up with you to show you how to finish off the end of this row. When you get down to the end of the row and you have worked your last single crochet V-stitch in the last center double crochet, we are going to work a half double crochet into the top of this turning chain. Again, you know you have that end chain when you have the stitch that creates the V. And there is the end of your second row repeat pattern. So we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, turn our work, and we're going to begin that repeat pattern once again. I'm going to work that repeat pattern with you one more time. So right in the top of this first chain 2 space, we're going to work 3 double crochets. So 1, 2, and 3. We're going to skip over to the next chain 2 space and we're going to work 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and now 3. And skipping to the next chain 2 space, we're going to work 3 double crochets and 2 and 3. And then right into the center of the next chain 2 space, 3 double crochets, whoops, and 2, and 3, and going right into the next one, working 3 more double crochets, and into the next one, 3 double crochets, 1, 2, and 3, and in the last chain 2 space we will also work 3 double crochets, 1, 2, and 3, and to end the row we're going to come into the very top of this turning chain. Got your little V-stitch going there, so you know you've got the right stitch, and we're going to work a single double crochet. All right, and that finishes the first row of our repeating pattern. We're going to chain 2, turn our work, and in the center double crochet across we're going to work that single crochet V-stitch. So single crochet, chain 2, and single crochet. Skipping over to that next center double crochet, we're going to work that single crochet V-stitch again, skipping over to the next center double crochet, we'll work our single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, all in the same stitch. Skipping to the next center double crochet, and we'll work that single crochet V-stitch again into the next center double crochet, single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, and we're going to keep doing that all the way across till we get to our last shell or cluster stitch of double crochets, and this is our last one. So we'll work our single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, and then to finish off the row we'll come over here to the top of our turning chain, make sure we get into both loops, and we'll work a half double crochet, and that completes how to work the primrose stitch. Now I'm going to keep working that repeating pattern of 2 rows until I have about 20 rows. I'm going to make a baby washcloth out of this to put aside for my soon-to-be new grandbaby. And I will come back and show you what it looks like when I have finished. So here's 2 that I was able to make out of that one skein of the baby stripes. And this is the one that I did in the tutorial. They are a little bit different in size, but I was able to, like I said, make both of these out of that one skein, and they're baby washcloths, so it doesn't really matter the size as long as it's big enough to wash the baby. And so anyway, I was very happy with the way they came out. The point was to introduce you to the Primrose Stitch, and it is just a beautiful stitch. And looking at these washcloths, I am so excited that this is the stitch that I am doing using the baby blanket that I am making, and I will pop a quick little picture up here for you to see what that baby blanket is looking like so far. It is still in the making, but that was what was the inspiration behind doing this little tutorial on how to do the primrose stitch, in case you wanted to do it after seeing the baby blanket that I have been sharing. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If so, please be sure and give it a thumbs up. And if you've not done so already, please subscribe to my channel and ring the bell so you don't miss any future videos. And be joyful, stay crafty in your own way, and make your own joyful creations. Bye.